Hey friends, I saw a friend of mine post something on Facebook last week that really just inspired me and encouraged me. And I knew I wanted to just put some thought to it and to share it. And so, whether you're a part of New Passion or whether you're just a ministry friend, I hope just this thought really encourages you to maybe think differently during this COVID 19 and coronavirus situation. He wrote this on Facebook. He wrote, during economic downturns, a farmer has two choices: sow seed and multiply, or eat seed and die. And that makes sense. You can take all that you have and you can consume it and you have nothing to live on. Or you can take that same seed, you may have to sacrifice a little bit, you may have to be a little patient, but if you plant that, it will grow and it will multiply, and in time it will give you more to live on and to survive on or to trade. And so we understand that. And so during this time, it made me think really in a spiritual truth sense. It reminded me of what the Bible talks about, things like there's a time to plant and then there's a time to uproot. There's a time to plant and then there's a time to reap the harvest. So the Bible talks a lot about farming and planting and producing crops. And so whether he is using it like in James to refer to being patient like a farmer and waiting for the coming of the Lord, or whether he's using it as an example in the Old Testament, or really giving some instructions, the Bible talks a lot about this. And so we know that a farmer doesn't always produce fruit. There are seasons. And so there's times that he has to prepare the ground, he has to plant the seed, water it, or allow nature to do what it does through rain to water it, and then wait for that to produce a crop and to produce fruit. And so it made me think about the church and just the very difficult time that some of us find ourselves in, or others may find themselves in, or for some, it's just weird not having people in the building, but we've been doing online church and we understand that that's where our world is, that we're in a Netflix generation where people consume content on demand. And so we know that this is the time for us to just continue what we've been doing in order to reach people where they're at. And so it still can be difficult because we know and we've seen God bless and do tremendous things. And, our ego, it makes us feel good to have full buildings and our children's environments full. And so for pastors and ministry leaders, it can be a bit strange. But it just really made me think that maybe this isn't our harvest season. Maybe this is that time that God wants us to prepare the land, and he wants us to plant seeds of the gospel, and he wants us to water it in the things that we have been doing, but he wants us to do it in a different way. Now we have the internet where we can do Zoom small group meetings and discipleship and devotions, and I see churches doing midweek worship nights and things to bring their people together to inspire and encourage them. Some people are taking the opportunity to use this to help teach financial management and how to live on a tighter budget, how to budget, and those type things. They're using these opportunities to help encourage parents, especially now that they're in closer quarters. So it's encouraging to see the church stepping up and doing what they have been doing because we believe in that. This is where it becomes, do we really believe what we say we believe? Do we really believe in the things that we invest our time and our energy into? Are these really tools that are important? Because if they're important in a physical setting, they should be important if we have to do it online. Because this is the moment that people are looking for hope. When we were handing out boxes of food yesterday, the hunger that people had for prayer was tremendous. We had people asking about the church and asking about, when things get back to normal, how they can come and visit. And I was able to tell them, hey, you can tune in online. And so these are those moments that I believe that God is allowing us to plant seed and to maybe water that which has been planted maybe years ago, and yet he's given us a captive audience in front of the world where the message and the ministry that we're doing, whatever that looks like, can, with the share of a button, can go further than just having a physical building. So this is the moment that we rise up. I was sharing with our church just 2 weeks ago. This is the moment that love compels us to go forward, to get on the front lines, to run towards the fire and not away from it, to give of our lives for the sake of other people, knowing that this is the moment that in the darkness the light shines the brightest, that this is the moment that in despair hope proclaims louder. This is the moment where in our history, if you look at some of the greatest sermons ever written, if you look at some of the greatest hymns ever written, like It Is Well With My Soul, these things came out of a dependence on Christ and a declaration of our dependence on Christ in the most difficult of times. And so this is the moment that we as the church, that we, especially those of us who are in ministry, that we proclaim even louder and even more consistently and even more fervently that there's a Jesus that we trust in and that we can put our confidence in. I think of one of the great worship songs that are out now, the more modern one that says, "This is how I fight my battles," that when it looks like I'm surrounded, that I'm surrounded by you. This is the time that we proclaim those things. This is the time that the world needs to hear those things. So, church, let's not miss this opportunity, knowing that there are people searching for hope, and that hope is in Jesus. People are looking for something that they can plant their roots in, and we know that that is in the person of Jesus. And so let us know, whether it's our neighbor next door, whether it is someone online that we can share our services with, that we can share our opportunities for Zoom meetings or whatever. Let us not back up, but let us go forward, knowing that whatever we plant in this day, whatever we water in this day, the Bible tells us that in due season that God will make it grow. So let us be fervent in planting the seeds of the gospel. Let us be fervent in sharing Jesus with the world, because it will bear fruit. Let us together rise up and be passionate followers of Jesus.